So scroll down and grab this line of code, cut it, and then paste it right above this column. Now we should close this for loop. So let's collapse this div below it. Okay, now right after this div, we want to add a template tag and type out end for. With these changes, we don't need the code from before. We don't need the UL and LI tags. So let's delete all of these. So this is the final result. Inside the content block, we should have these tags. We have an H1 on the top for the heading. Below that, we have a row. Then we have our for loop. And in each iteration, we render a column. So let's also indent this line to go inside the for loop. That's better. Now finally, we close our for loop. And after that, we close our row. With this change, if we go back to the browser and refresh, we get something like this. We're basically repeating all that static or fixed markup from Bootstrap over here. So we're not rendering the actual name or the image of each product. But that is a very easy fix. So back to our markup, let's expand this column. So here's our card. Inside this card, we have an image on line 9. Look at the source attribute of this image. We need to change this and dynamically render the image URL attribute of each product. So let's delete this. And inside the quotes, we add double curly braces to render some value. We want to render product dot image underline URL like this. Now over here on line 11, we have this text card title. We want to replace this with the name of each product. So delete double curly braces and we add product dot name. Next, we need to replace this text with the price of each product. So delete. Here we have a paragraph tag. Inside this tag, we add double curly braces to render product.price. And just before these braces, we want to add a $sign. And the last change is the label for this button. It's called Go Somewhere. We want to change that to Add to Cart. Now back to this page, refresh. We should get something like this. Beautiful. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you a couple of techniques for improving the look and feel of this page. First, we're going to add a navigation bar on the top, and then we're going to add some padding around these elements. Currently, this product card is way too close to the left side of the screen. So we should add some padding to let this page breathe. Now, to add a navigation bar, once again, we go to the Bootstrap website. Look at the documentation for the navbar component. So here's the navbar. Now, if you scroll down, you can see a typical navbar. So we can have these links. We could have a drop down. We could have a search bar. Now, this looks a little bit clunky because I've resized the screen, so it doesn't look pretty. But below that, you can see another simple navigation bar with only the brand or the name of the application. So over here, we have the markup to render this navigation bar. So let's go ahead and copy this. Now back to PyCharm, where should we add this markup? We should add it to base.html because this is supposed to be a base template for all pages in our application. So here's the opening body tag. Right below this body tag, we want to paste the markup for rendering a navigation bar. Now the code is not formatted properly. It looks clunky. So once again, go to the code menu and then reformat code. As you can see, the shortcut for Mac is Alt, Command, and L. So I'm going to use a shortcut here. There you go. That is better. So here's our navigation bar. Now let's change this text from navbar to PyShop. That's the name of our application, right? Now back to the browser. Let's refresh this page. We have this navigation bar on the top. Let's go back to PyCharm and make a slight change in the structure of our application. So here in the products app, we created the templates folder. And in this folder, currently we have two templates, the base template for our application and the template for the products page. The problem with this structure is that this base HTML is not reusable because we have added it inside the templates of the products app. What if in the future we want to add another app to this project? We don't want to recreate this base.html in every app. That just doesn't make sense. So we want to reuse this across multiple apps. And that's why we need to move this outside of this folder and put it somewhere central. So in the root of our project, here we need to add a new folder called templates. So right-click the project and add a new directory called templates. Now we want to go back to the products app. Inside the templates folder, we drag this base.html file and drop it into the main templates folder. Okay, good. Now our base template is somewhere central, so we can reuse it in multiple apps. However, if we go back to the browser and refresh this page, we get this error: template does not exist. If you scroll down, you can see why we get this error. So over here, you can see this red line. Let me zoom in. This error happened because Django couldn't load base.html. Now, if you scroll up, you can see the paths that Django searches for to find this template. Here's the first path: admin/templates/base.html. So Django is looking for this template inside the admin app. Here's the second path: auth/templates/base.html. So Django couldn't find it in the admin app. It thinks maybe it's in the auth app. And finally, here's the last path: products/templates/base.html. That is our products app. So what is going on here? Django is looking for this template only inside of the installed apps. But this templates folder that we created, it's not really part of any apps. It's just a standalone folder. So we need to tell Django to look inside this folder in addition to the installed apps. And that is very easy. So in the main package, PyShop, you have seen the settings file before. Let's have another look here. If you scroll up, you can see this variable, base directory. This variable is set to the complete path of where you have stored this Django project on your disk. We're going to take this directory and append templates to it. So scroll down. On line 55, you can see the configuration for loading templates. Look at the settings we have here. The first setting is backend, and this is the engine that is used to parse our templates. So all those template tags, as well as the double curly braces, this is the engine that knows how to interpret those. Look at the second setting, directories. This is set to an empty list. So here we need to reference the templates folder in this project. So let's type out os.path. So we're using the path object defined in the OS or operating system module that is imported on the top. Now this path object has a method called join. And with this, we can join multiple parts of a path. The first part is base_dir, which is the variable that I showed you earlier. It's set to the complete path of your Django project. Now we want to take this and append templates to it. That's all we had to do. So back to the browser, let's refresh the page. There you go. The problem is fixed. So now our base template is somewhere central and we can reuse it across multiple apps. Beautiful. And one last change. Currently, as you see, these items are so close to the left side of the screen. So I'm going to add some padding to make this page breathe. And that is very easy. Back to PyCharm. Here in our base template, where we define this content block, we need to wrap this with a div with the class container. This is one of the classes defined in Bootstrap that we use to define a container area in our application. This container area has some padding. So type out div.container and press tab. Okay, and then move these template tags inside of this div. That's it. Now back to the browser. Let's refresh. So this is our container area. As you can see, we have some padding to the left and right side of this container area. Beautiful. So that brings us to the end of this Django tutorial in this Python course. I hope you learned a lot and thank you for watching. So that was a short and sweet introduction to Django. But Django really requires its own course, and I'm planning to create a comprehensive course on the topic in the near future. Now here's a question for you. What kind of applications do you want to build with Django? Use the comment box below and let me know. I will take your ideas into consideration as part of creating my upcoming Django course. So that brings us to the end of this course. I hope you learned a lot. Please support my hard work by liking this video and sharing it with others. And also subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.